The power of consistency is the one force that separates champions from everyone else. Yet most people ignore it completely. They chase motivation like it's some magic pill that will transform their lives overnight. They wait for that perfect moment when they'll finally feel inspired enough to act. But here's the brutal truth they refuse to accept. Motivation is worthless without daily discipline backing it up. Think about it. Every January, millions set ambitious goals fueled by nothing but raw motivation. 80% of them quit by mid-February. Why? Because motivation fades. It's unreliable. It's emotional. And when the feelings disappear, so does the action. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care how you feel. It keeps showing up whether you're excited or exhausted, inspired or defeated. That's the difference. That's why your results depend entirely on what you do when motivation abandons you. You've heard the phrase, motivation gets you started, discipline keeps you going. But let's go deeper than that tired cliche. The research tells a story that most motivational gurus won't share with you because it destroys their entire business model. According to a comprehensive study by the University of South Australia, analyzing over 2,600 participants, forming a new habit takes a median of 59 to 66 days. Not the mythical 21 days you've been sold. And get this, the range varies wildly, from 4 days to 335 days, depending on the complexity of the behavior and the individual. So when someone tells you habit formation is quick and easy, they're lying to you. Before we dive deeper, hit like and subscribe so you never miss our videos, and share this with someone who needs to see it. Here's what makes this research so powerful. It confirms what every successful person already knows, but what struggling people refuse to believe. Consistency over time beats intensity every single time. The study found that morning practices and self-selected habits exhibited greater strength. Why? Because they're built into your identity rather than forced upon you by external pressure. When you choose to become the type of person who shows up daily, you're not relying on fleeting emotions. You're operating from a deeper place, your standards. Think about the average millionaire. According to the Ramsey National Study of Millionaires, which surveyed over 10,000 millionaires across America, 94% of them live below their means, despite having the wealth to do otherwise. 3 out of 4 credited regular, consistent investing over a long period as the reason they built wealth. Not luck, not inheritance, not some once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Consistent action, month after month, year after year. That's how real wealth is built. The study revealed that only 21% of millionaires received any inheritance at all. The rest built their fortune through 2 simple factors that ranked above everything else: financial discipline and saving consistently. Let that sink in for a moment. Discipline and consistency beat out high income, advanced degrees, and even luck when it came to building 7-figure wealth. Because discipline isn't about what you do once when you're motivated. It's about what you do every single day, regardless of how you feel. It's about showing up when your competitors are sleeping in. It's about putting in the work when others are making excuses. It's about stacking small wins, day after day, until those wins compound into something extraordinary. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think discipline means forcing yourself to do things you hate. They think it requires superhuman willpower or some genetic gift they weren't born with. That's not how this works. Real discipline is simply deciding who you want to be, then proving it to yourself through your actions every single day. It's not about motivation, because motivation is what average people rely on, and average people get average results. Look at the statistics on New Year's resolutions. Every year, millions of people set goals fueled purely by motivation. They're excited, they're energized, they're ready to change their entire lives. But according to research tracking 800 million user activities, 80% of people abandon their resolutions by the second week of February. The second Friday in January is literally called Quitter's Day, because that's when most people give up. Why? Because they were running on motivation, and motivation ran out. The top reason people cite for quitting? Loss of motivation at 35%. Not lack of time, not difficulty of the goal. They simply stopped feeling motivated, so they stopped acting. That's the trap. When your actions depend on your feelings, you're setting yourself up for guaranteed failure, because feelings change hourly. What doesn't change? Your commitment to discipline, your commitment to consistency, your commitment to showing up regardless of how you feel. Research from Harvard University, the Carnegie Foundation, and Stanford Research Center all reached the same conclusion. 85% of job success comes from well-developed soft skills like discipline and consistency, while only 15% comes from technical knowledge and hard skills. Their skills that actually determine your success have nothing to do with talent or intelligence. They have everything to do with your ability to show up consistently and execute. That means the playing field is more level than you think. Your competition might be smarter, more talented, or better connected, but if they lack discipline, you'll outlast them every time. Angela Duckworth, a psychology professor at the University of Pennsylvania, spent years studying high achievers across different fields. Her conclusion? Grit, defined as persistence and passion for long-term goals, is the single biggest indicator of success. Not IQ, not talent, not circumstances. Grit. And grit is just another word for disciplined consistency over time. The high achievers she interviewed didn't talk about intensity. They talked about showing up consistently, day after day, year after year. They talked about commitment that doesn't waver based on feelings or circumstances. Here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Your motivation will fail you. It will disappear at the worst possible moment. You'll wake up one morning feeling nothing, and that's when your entire plan falls apart. If motivation is all you have. But if you've built discipline, if you've established non-negotiables in your life, then you keep moving forward regardless of how you feel. You don't need to feel inspired to brush your teeth. You don't need motivation to show up at work. Why? Because those actions are tied to your identity. They're who you are, not things you do when you feel like it. That's the shift you need to make. Stop asking yourself if you feel motivated. Start asking yourself who you're committed to being. Are you the type of person who follows through? Are you the type of person who keeps their word to themselves? Are you the type of person who shows up even when it's hard? Answer those questions honestly, then let your actions reflect your answers. Because here's what consistency does that motivation never will. It compounds. Every single action you take builds upon the previous one. Miss a day, and you're not just losing that day's progress. You're breaking the chain. You're reinforcing the identity of someone who quits when things get hard. But show up consistently, and each action becomes easier than the last. The neural pathways in your brain literally strengthen through repetition. What felt impossible on day 1 becomes automatic by day 66. That's not motivation. That's neuroplasticity backed by disciplined action. The University of South Australia research revealed something fascinating about habit formation. Morning practices showed significantly stronger habit development than activities attempted later in the day. Why? Because your willpower is highest in the morning. Your decision-making capacity hasn't been depleted by the demands of the day. So if you want to build consistency, stack your most important habits in the morning before the world has a chance to derail you. Win the morning, and you've already won the day. But let's address the elephant in the room. Building discipline is uncomfortable. It requires you to do things when you don't feel like it. It requires you to pass on immediate pleasure for long-term gains. It requires you to be okay with being uncomfortable while everyone around you takes the easy path. Most people can't handle that level of discomfort, so they retreat back to motivation because motivation feels good. It's exciting, it's energizing, until it's not. Then they're back to square one, starting over once again, wondering why success keeps eluding them. The people who actually win understand a fundamental truth. Success isn't built in the moments when you feel great. It's built in the moments when you feel terrible, but you act anyway. It's built when you're tired, but you still show up. It's built when you're discouraged, but you keep pushing. Those moments, those unglamorous, unnoticed moments of disciplined action are where champions are made. Because consistency isn't about doing things when it's convenient. It's about doing things especially when it's not. Look at how successful people structure their lives. The Ramsey study found that millionaires have made budgeting a monthly habit. They know exactly what's coming in and what's leaving their accounts. It's not because they love spreadsheets. It's because they've built the discipline to track their finances consistently. They've made it a non-negotiable part of their routine. Same with reading. The study revealed millionaires prioritize leadership books and biographies over entertainment because they understand that consistent learning compounds over time. They're playing the long game, while everyone else chases short-term dopamine hits. Here's what separates winners from everyone else. Winners understand that the process is the prize. They're not fixated on the end result. They're obsessed with the daily actions that lead to that result. They know that if they take care of the process, the results will take care of themselves. That's why they can maintain consistency even when results aren't immediately visible. They trust the process because they understand compounding. They know that small actions repeated daily create massive results over time. Most people want massive results from minimal effort. That's why most people fail. The research shows successful habit formation is influenced by several key factors: frequency of action, timing of practice, whether you enjoy it, and whether you've planned for it. Notice what's not on that list: motivation, feeling inspired, waiting for the perfect moment. Those things don't matter. What matters is whether you've structured your life to support consistent action. Have you scheduled the behavior? Have you removed obstacles? Have you created environmental cues that trigger the action? That's discipline. That's how you build consistency regardless of motivation. Let's talk about identity for a moment, because this is where everything changes. Most people try to change their behaviors without changing their identity. They want to lose weight but still identify as someone who eats poorly. They want to build wealth but still identify as someone who's bad with money. That creates internal conflict. Your behaviors will always align with your identity eventually. So if you want lasting change, you need to change who you believe you are. You need to become the type of person for whom consistent action is natural, not forced. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Miss a workout and you're voting for being undisciplined. Show up despite not feeling like it, and you're voting for being disciplined. Enough votes in one direction and your identity shifts. You stop being someone who tries to be disciplined and become someone who is disciplined. That's when consistency becomes effortless, because you're not fighting against your identity anymore. You're living in alignment with it. The data on habit strength is revealing. The University of South Australia study found that simple behaviors, like drinking a glass of water, peaked in habit strength faster than complex behaviors, like doing 50 sit-ups. That tells us something crucial. Start small. If you're trying to build discipline and consistency, don't start by overhauling your entire life. Start with one small habit that aligns with who you want to become. Master that, then add another. Stack habits over time rather than trying to do everything at once. That's how sustainable change happens. But here's the part that makes all of this possible. You have to embrace the suck. You have to be willing to feel uncomfortable. You have to accept that building discipline means doing things you don't want to do until they become things you do automatically. There's no way around this. The discomfort is the price of admission. The question is whether you're willing to pay it. Most people aren't. They'd rather stay comfortable and average than be uncomfortable and exceptional. That's their choice. What's yours? Think about what happens when you commit to daily discipline. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop wasting mental energy deciding whether to act. You've already decided. The decision was made when you committed to consistency. Now you just execute. That frees up massive amounts of mental bandwidth for more important things. Successful people don't waste willpower on whether to do basic habits. Those things are automatic. That's why they can focus their energy on higher-level decisions, while everyone else is still debating whether to go to the gym. The compound effect of consistency cannot be overstated. According to research on wealth building, consistent investing over 32 years is what it took for the average saver investor to reach millionaire status. 32 years, not overnight. Not in a few months. 3 decades of consistent action. That's the reality. Success is boring. It's showing up and doing the work day after day when nobody's watching and nobody's cheering. It's trusting that small actions compound into extraordinary results. even when you can't see the progress yet. Here's what discipline gives you that motivation never will. Freedom. When you build the discipline to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel, you're no longer a slave to your emotions. You're no longer waiting for the right mood or the right moment. You act because you're committed, not because you feel like it. That's true freedom. That's power. Because your results are no longer dependent on unpredictable feelings. They're dependent on your commitment to consistency, which is entirely within your control. The neuroscience backs this up. When you repeat a behavior consistently in the same context, your brain creates strong neural pathways. The behavior becomes automatic. The basal ganglia, which plays a crucial role in habit formation, takes over. What once required significant conscious effort now happens with minimal thought. That's why disciplined people make success look easy. They're not more motivated than you. They've simply built stronger neural pathways through consistent repetition. Their brains are wired for success because they put in the reps. But let's address the biggest obstacle to consistency. Life happens. You get sick. Work explodes. Emergencies arise. Most people use these disruptions as excuses to quit entirely. They break their streak and assume they've failed. Here's the truth. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up even if you can't do the full workout. It means getting back on track after a missed day instead of using it as permission to quit. Research shows that people who successfully form habits experience an average of 14 slip-ups over 2 years. 14. They didn't succeed because they were perfect. They succeeded because they were resilient. They got back up after falling. That's the difference. Your ability to maintain consistency determines everything about your future. Not your talent, not your opportunities, not your circumstances, your consistency. Because consistency is what turns potential into reality. It's what transforms good intentions into actual results. It's what separates people who talk about their dreams from people who achieve them. Anyone can be motivated for a day. Anyone can work hard for a week. But can you show up for years? Can you keep going when results aren't visible yet? Can you maintain discipline when everyone around you is taking shortcuts? The Stanford Marshmallow Experiment from the 1970s tracked children who were able to delay gratification. Years later, those kids had higher SAT scores, better health outcomes, and managed stress more effectively. Why? Because they had learned early that immediate gratification isn't worth sacrificing long-term gains. That ability to delay gratification, to choose discipline over impulse, predicted success across every area of life. You're not a child anymore, but the principle remains the same. Your ability to choose long-term consistency over short-term comfort will determine everything. Here's what most people don't realize. Discipline gets easier with practice. The first few weeks are brutal. Your brain fights you every step of the way. You have to force yourself to act, but if you push through that initial resistance, something magical happens. The behavior becomes part of who you are. It stops feeling like work and starts feeling like identity. That's when consistency becomes sustainable. That's when you've won, because now you're not trying to be disciplined, you simply are disciplined. That's the shift everyone's chasing, but few actually achieve, because they quit before reaching that point. The data shows that planning and intending to complete a behavior significantly helps solidify habits. That means you need systems, not goals. Goals are about the results you want. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. If you want to lose weight, that's a goal. If you commit to working out 5 days per week at 6 a.m., that's a system. Focus on the system. Build the discipline to execute the system consistently. The results will follow automatically. That's not faith. That's how compounding works. Successful people understand this instinctively. They don't focus on motivation. They focus on building systems that make consistent action inevitable. They structure their environment to support their goals. They remove friction from desired behaviors and add friction to undesired ones. They use implementation intentions. If X happens, then I will do Y. That's discipline translated into practical systems. It removes the need for motivation because the decision has already been made. When the trigger occurs, you act. No debate, no negotiation. That's how winners operate. Consider the finding that self-selected habits exhibit greater strength than prescribed ones. That means you need to choose goals that actually matter to you, not goals you think you should have or goals that impress other people. When the goal is genuinely yours, when it aligns with your values and vision, consistency becomes easier because you're working towards something meaningful. You're not trying to be someone else. You're becoming the fullest expression of yourself. That's sustainable motivation. The desire to become who you're capable of being. The reality is harsh, but liberating. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to make you consistent. Nobody's going to force you to be disciplined. That's on you, completely. You either decide that your goals matter enough to show up regardless of how you feel, or you don't. There's no middle ground. You're either committed or you're not, and your results will reflect that commitment with perfect accuracy. The market doesn't care about your intentions. Life doesn't grade on effort. You get rewarded for results, and results come from consistent, disciplined action over time. Period. This is where most people fail. They want the results without the process. They want the destination without the journey. They want to be wealthy without the years of disciplined saving. They want to be fit without the daily workouts. They want success without sacrifice. That's not how reality works. That's fantasy, and chasing fantasy keeps you stuck, while people who embrace reality move forward. The process is the price. Consistency is the currency. Discipline is the deposit you make daily into your future. No shortcuts, no hacks, just work. Here's the beautiful part. Once you understand this, once you truly internalize that consistency beats intensity, you stop wasting energy on motivation. You stop waiting for inspiration. You stop looking for the perfect moment. You just act. Because that's who you are. You're someone who shows up. You're someone who follows through. You're someone who keeps their commitments to themselves. And when you build that identity, when you prove it to yourself day after day, something shifts. Confidence builds. Not fake confidence based on what you think you can do, but real confidence based on what you've already done. That's unshakable. The compounding continues beyond just your habits. Disciplined people attract opportunities that under-persistent people never see. Why? Because when you demonstrate consistency, people trust you. When you follow through repeatedly, doors open. When you prove you're reliable, others want to work with you. Your reputation for discipline becomes your greatest asset, because in a world full of people who quit, someone who finishes stands out. That reputation opens doors that motivation could never unlock. That's the hidden benefit of consistency nobody talks about. Think about every area where you're not getting the results you want. Honestly assess it. Is the problem a lack of information, or is it a lack of consistent execution? 99% of the time, you already know what to do. You're just not doing it consistently. You're waiting to feel motivated. You're hoping for inspiration. You're looking for the perfect plan. Stop. You don't need more information. You don't need more motivation. You need more discipline. You need to commit to consistent action regardless of how you feel. That's it. That's the entire secret to success. The research is clear. The data is unambiguous. Consistency beats everything. Discipline trumps motivation. Long-term thinking defeats short-term impulses. This isn't motivational fluff. This is documented fact across multiple studies and thousands of successful people. The question is whether you'll actually apply it, or just nod along and go back to your old patterns. Because information without implementation is worthless. Knowing without doing changes nothing. You have to decide right now whether you're committed to building discipline or whether you're going to keep chasing motivation like everyone else who never achieves their goals. Here's what happens when you commit to daily discipline. You stop being surprised by your lack of results because you know exactly why you're getting what you're getting. You take full responsibility. No excuses, no victim mentality, just honest assessment and consistent action. That level of personal accountability is rare. Most people would rather blame circumstances than admit they lack discipline. But blame keeps you powerless. Accountability gives you control. When you own your results, you can change them. When you blame others, you're stuck. The path forward is simple but not easy. Choose one area where you want to see results. Define the daily action required. Commit to that action for 66 days minimum. No negotiations, no exceptions. Build the habit through consistent repetition. Once it's automatic, add another habit. Stack them over time. That's how you transform your entire life. Not through motivation, not through intensity, through disciplined consistency applied relentlessly over months and years. That's the only proven path. Everything else is distraction. You're at a choice point right now. You can close this video and go back to hoping motivation will strike. You can keep waiting for the perfect moment to start. You can keep making excuses for why you're not where you want to be. Or you can make a different choice. You can decide that starting today, you become someone who shows up regardless of feelings, someone who follows through on commitments, someone who builds discipline through daily action. That's the only choice that leads to different results. Which are you going to make? The power of consistency is the ultimate competitive advantage in a world addicted to motivation. 80% of people quit by February because they rely on feelings instead of discipline. But research proves habits form through consistent action over 59 to 66 days, not overnight inspiration. Millionaires credit disciplined consistency, not luck, for their wealth. Success is boring. Same actions, same commitment, day after day, whether you feel like it or not. Stop chasing motivation. Build systems. Create non-negotiables. Prove through your daily actions who you're committed to being. Your future depends entirely on what you do when motivation disappears. So decide right now, are you someone who talks or someone who acts? Your answer determines everything.